Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Out of Georgia and the religion of his father, Fran Tarkenton changed football. He said, no, I'm not going to stay in the pocket. This is a highlight of Bloomberg surveillance. This goes back to Reggie Jackson and talking about his father and Willie Mays. In studio now, Fran Tarkenton. Paul, holding well at 79 years old.
Solid. Solid. Fran, thanks so much for joining us here.
I am happy to be here. Thank you.
Born in Richmond, Virginia. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Richmond. Talk to us about the state of football today. Boy, it changes so much from when you were playing. How do you view it?
It's amazing how it's changed.
Yep.
But it's 32 teams in the league, and there's not much difference between them. The quarterback position, which I happen to play, you got to have a good quarterback. Half the quarterbacks or more this year have missed games. Mm-hmm. They don't stay healthy. They don't stay well. And everything is, and you look at Kansas City, they're struggling, and they're in the Super Bowl the last couple of years. And Philadelphia is struggling. Quarterbacks run back and forth. It's not much difference between the 32nd team and the first team.
Right.
And injuries have come up to be a part of it now. And it's just a free-for-all right now.
Well, when you played, I think 12 games?
We played, when I first came, 12 games, then we got to 14 games.
And now it's 17 going to 8? I
don't know how
you're
going
to keep the players healthy.
Well, they don't.
They don't, okay.
They don't. And so that brings everything back. And the quarterbacks are getting hurt at a higher rate. Roger Staubach played every game. I played every game. Y.A. Tittle played every game. John Unitas played every game. We never missed games. I missed 5 games in 18 years.
Wow. Fran Tarkenton, a question I wanted to ask, and this is for all the parents out there looking at football and saying, do I really want my kid to do this? When you played, players were tackled. Now they're hit. Could you play today? Guy that you were, could you play?
Oh, yeah. I could play today. I could play today better than I did the other day. Because when I came into football, from high school to college to pro, I scrambled, but I didn't know I scrambled.
You scrambled as a Georgia Bulldog.
As a Georgia Bulldog. In my high school in Athens, Georgia, we won the state championship. I scrambled. And I didn't know what that meant. I just ran because I had that ability. But I came into pro football. Nobody ran. Nobody scrambled. So I was this crazed, different person that would never make it. And it really was, I would beat the Baltimore Colts my rookie year. They had a guy named Gino Marchetti, the best defensive end that's ever been. We later became great friends. And after the game, we beat them. And I was a first, and they were a great team. And they said to him, hey, Gino, how about this Tarkenton guy? He said he won't last 5 years. They'll run him out. 6 years later, I had Gino Marchetti introduce me as player of the year for one of the magazines here in New York. So it was I didn't know it was different. It's just how I played.
Fran, if you were a quarterback today in the NFL, they'd be paying you $40 million a year for 10 years. Generational wealth.
I think at least that.
Talk to us about your early days and what they paid you guys and how did that compare with your friends that were graduated from Georgia? And
1961, I was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. I made $12,500. 18 years later, I played in 3 of the first 11 Super Bowls. I broke every record there was. I obliterated all of those. I was the highest paid player in all of football, and I made $180,000 a year. That was big back then. Yeah. Now they're making $40 million, $50 million a year. And they paid Brady to do television, right color. Exactly. And they paid him $35, $40, $50 million to do that. It's crazy, but television has made all that work, as you know.
Yep.
With us across America today, what a treat for the holidays. Fran Tarkenton is with us. He is with PIP IQ. That's what he's been working on recently. PIP-IQ, a full-service B2B technology strategy for small and medium-sized businesses. But forever a Georgia Bulldog.
Yes.
Forever. I have to ask this, in the Hall of Fame, which jersey do you wear? Vikings? Redskins?
Oh, I'm a Viking.
You're a Viking.
Now, I grew up in Washington, D.C. until I was 10 years old. I was a Redskin fan. I was a Maryland football fan. I moved to Athens, Georgia, and I became a Georgia Bulldog fan, and that's where I played.
What did Dallas Tarkenton, Reverend Tarkenton, what did he do to you? Because you came out of football and said, I'm not going to retire and do nothing. You're on Saturday Night Live as the first athlete. You're like a property as well. What did your father give you to make you different than those giants you just mentioned?
Well, I don't know. I was a Pentecostal holiness. He was a Pentecostal holiness preacher, and my mother was a preacher. And and we couldn't do any work on Sundays. Somehow they allowed me to come to Minnesota to play for the Vikings, and we played on Sundays. In my very first game, we played the Chicago Bears, and the Monsters of the Midway. And George Halas was the founder of the National Football League. He was the coach of the Bears. He owned the Bears and so forth. And we were 28-point underdogs because we were a new expansion team, and we beat them 37-14. And I threw for 4 touchdowns and ran for another. And my mother rode a Greyhound bus from Athens, Georgia, to Minnesota to be a surprise for me. And I come out of the dressing room, I see my mom, I said, Mom, how many great quarterbacks do you think there really are in the world? She said, 1 less than you think, my son.
There you go. Hey, Fran, we talked about the changes in the professional game, but boy, the changes in the college game are even more pronounced with the name, image, likeness, the transfer portal. The days of you staying in Georgia for 4 years and not even thinking about transferring, those are gone.
They've got a real challenge in college. They haven't figured it out yet. They're paying these players $3 million to $5 million now a year to
There's
play.
Georgia Bulldogs making $3 million a year.
Oh,
sure.
Oh, yeah. They're paying them 3 and maybe 5, and in those conferences and they're making a lot of money, no question about it. But it's all changed, and they haven't got a grasp on it right now.
Fran Tarkenton with us, a special moment here for Bloomberg Surveillance. Well preserved at 79. Somebody emailed in on this. What's the Tarkenton secret to being of a vintage? I mean, you're doing beyond well.
Well, I have stayed active all my life. I had a paper out in Washington, D.C. when I was 7 years old. When I was in college, I had off-season jobs, and I started an insurance company when I was 21
You didn't retire.
years
You just keep going.
I kept going and kept going, and I keep going now.
Well, you're in way too tech, Paul. I don't even understand this. PIP, IQ, helping productivity, privacy, and usability. Tell us about your digital model.
It's all about AI.
Wow.
And AI is, and I've helped small business entrepreneurs for the last 30 years. We built programs for them along. And this is going to, those people, they can't pay $1 billion to have an AI situation. And so we have built our company, and we built our IQ, and we're making that available to small businesses at a price they can afford. And it's done extraordinarily well. I've started 24 companies in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm keeping active of it because the mission of business is to help people. Mm-hmm. The mission of business is not to sell. The mission of business is to be able to help people do better, and we help the small business entrepreneur do that.
How has business changed? I mean, you've been going through 20 some odd companies you mentioned. How has this changed over time?
The technology has changed it all. This is the greatest time I've ever had in business. You can do more today than ever before, and you just got to go do it. And but it's changed for the better. Business is doing good in America, especially.
I think we got to finish up with 2 questions. One, I want to get to the really important one first. Let's do the secondary one. I was okay, good. I didn't know that. Thank you, Cy, so much. Can you explain why the great city of New York, one of the world's metropolises, I watched 7 minutes of the Jets this weekend. Mohamed El-Arian said, you got to watch it.
I know.
They did like a group offsides in the 4th quarter with 2 minutes to go. And then there's your New York Giants. What do you say to the Mara family to straighten out the train wreck known as the New York Football Giants?
It's pretty bad. And even my Minnesota Vikings now, it's pretty bad because we got rid of 2 really good quarterbacks. One had 14-3, and we drafted a guy from Michigan. He's going to be he hadn't played any. He didn't play last year as a rookie. He played a little bit this year, not playing well. It's a game that we all love to watch, but I wouldn't want to be in pro football now as a coach or an owner because it's very difficult to win.
Well, the New York Giants, a lot of people look at Jackson Dart, the quarterback of the New York, and they think of you. Because
Yeah.
this is a kid who runs all over the place, not afraid to take a hit, maybe to a fault, because he's had concussions and he had that crazy hit in the football game last Sunday. If you're a football team in the NFL, you have to have a great quarterback, don't you?
Your quarterback today has to do more than throw. You cannot win today without a quarterback that can run.
Well, let me rephrase that. You cannot win today without being a quarterback like Fran Tarkenton.
No, Patrick Mahomes is kind of coming to another level now because he's mobile in the quarter. But here's what happens: if you're mobile, you go down, you run out of bounds, you fall down, and they protect you more today than they did in my time. But I didn't take many hits because I either ran out of bounds or I fell down on the field and they couldn't touch me. So I missed 5 games in 18 years.
So what about the officiating today? I'm the non-football guy here.
Yeah.
I see massive clutchy grabby on the receivers, and I see the quarterbacks. You can't get near them. If you look at a quarterback, it's 10 yards, right?
Yeah, I wish they'd have done that in my time. They didn't do that in my time. Yeah, they protect the quarterback from that. And but the injuries in pro football have gotten out of control.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how that happened. But these guys are bigger than their bodies should be. In my era, the offensive linemen the big ones were 230, 240. Today they're 340, 350. They're bigger than they're supposed to be.
So, Fran, success all throughout your life through athletics. Talk to us about just that. How you viewed your post-playing career getting into business.
Well, I worked all my life. I worked in high school. I worked in college. In pro football, I was the only guy that had a job. And I started building businesses at 25 years old. And because I don't know, I like to do that. It wasn't just that I wasn't making any money playing football. I wanted to go out and do something and make something happen with the rest of my life, and I've been able to do that.
I want to get this in for Lisa Mateo. I want to get this in for the hockey moms and dads of Boston, the football moms and dads of Georgia and Texas. America's become a jockocracy. When you played, we could tell you weren't just another dumb jock. Have we gone too far with a 24/7 focus on sports?
I don't know about it's popular. I watch it like crazy, but it's gotten to be pretty tough right now. Football players especially get hit hard by big guys that are bigger than I played against in my time. It's a more dangerous game today than ever before, and they've tried to fix the helmets and do this, but it doesn't work. And it's what happens, you get so many concussions, and then you go back and play, and so many of my teammates are gone because we didn't understand that if you have a concussion, you got to make him sit down for a week or 2 weeks.
Right.
And they're trying, but it's a tough deal right now, and the injuries are like nothing I've ever seen in my life. Worse than ever.
In support of Tarkenton Financial and PIPIQ, Fran Tarkenton with us. Thank you so much for joining.
Nice being here.
Bloomberg, this is good. And on your way out, would you leave me a message on how you stay 79 forever? I just love how you're doing that. Fran Tarkenton forever with the Minnesota Vikings.